Okay, so you've just heard me play drum beat 1A, the most popular drum beat you're ever going to hear performed. It's so popular because it's so simple. Deceptively simple. When you first start to play it, you'll be surprised perhaps how difficult it is to actually play. But once you get it, once you develop your drumming ability, you'll find out that actually the drum beat isn't that complicated, and will turn into a drum beat that you go back to again and again when the music requires something simple and solid and something that people in the audience will find easy to dance to. So let me explain to you how to actually play the beat itself. The beat consists of 4 beats, 4 counted beats. Now, when I'm practicing these drum beats, and I encourage you to do the same, I want you to be able to count these drum beats out loud. Now, to start off with, the counting makes the playing a little bit more difficult. I won't pretend that it's going to make it easier for you. It'll make it harder. And to start off with, you'll be thinking, well, what's the point of counting out loud if it makes it harder for me? Well, the reason being that later in your playing, as you develop yourself as a drummer, you're going to be required to read and learn beats, exercises, fills that are more and more complicated. And for example, if you were asked to play a note on, for example, beat 3, and you weren't able to count, then you wouldn't know where beat 3 was, and so wouldn't be able to take the exercise of beat off a page of music and apply it to the drum kit itself. So the counting is harder to start off with, but in the long run is going to really help you learn quicker and better and more efficiently in the future. So there are 4 beats to this drum beat, and each beat is split up into 2 notes, giving us 8 notes in total. And that's what we're playing on the hi-hat with our right hand. We're playing 8 notes. This is why they're called 8th notes, because there's 8 of them that we're playing. And they're counted 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. That's 4 beats with an and, counted and, in between each beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, at exactly the same time as we count 1, we're going to play the bass drum with our right foot. Now, make sure that the hi-hat and the bass drum line up accurately with each other. We don't want them to be played separately, we want them to be played at exactly the same time on beat 1. So on beat 1, we get 1. With me so far? The next note is an and played on the hi-hat on its own. So we just get the hi-hat on and like this, and. Then on beat 2, we get the snare drum and hi-hat played at the same time like this. 2, 2. Again, make sure that the hands are played at exactly the same time. Then we get a hi-hat on its own on the and, then bass drum and hi-hat together on 3, 3, then and on its own, and, then hi-hat and snare drum together on 4, 4, then hi-hat on its own on the and. So you could think of it as the hi-hat playing steady 8th notes, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. On beat 1 we have the bass drum, on beat 2 we have the snare drum, on beat 3 we have the bass drum, and on beat 4 we have the snare drum again. And in between each beat we're just playing the hi-hat on its own on the ands. Now the snare drum is playing on beats 2 and 4, and this is traditionally known as the back beat. It's the back of the drum beat on beats 2 and 4. It's not the first note, it's the second note, and therefore slightly back from the beginning of the drum beat, hence its name, the back beat. The bass drum is just playing on beats 1 and 3 to start off with. The next examples will be developing that bass drum, but for now it's just beats 1 and 3. So again, very slowly, we get 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and. Now it's important to try and keep the hi-hat steady. Don't let the hi-hat speed up or slow down. Whatever speed you start the drum beat, make sure that you end the drum beat at the same speed. Start off really slowly. Don't be worried about playing super fast yet. That will come in time, I guarantee you. If you can play these slowly and accurately, then the speed will happen automatically. If you try and play these too fast to start off with, then you're gonna get into all kinds of trouble later on. You need to make sure that you're really lining up the hands and the feet properly to start off with. Another quick point about the hi-hat foot, the left foot. Make sure that it's pressed down on the hi-hat, keeping the two cymbals closed, nice and tight. Not so tight that you're going to break the hi-hat, but not so loose that the cymbals wobble. We want a nice crisp sound on the hi-hat. And finally, of course, you can also try playing the right hand on the ride cymbal, or even the floor tom for variations. A drummer might choose to play the right hand on the hi-hat or the ride cymbal generally, but they can also play on the floor tom if they wish.